Buzz, have you seen Solo continue to develop this year, get kind of earn his way in the starting lineup, and I think you've said a couple times be a guy that a lot of times you can't take off the court.
I would say the first thing is he's just maturing at a rapid rate. He's always been physically gifted, at least since I've known him. But I think he's maturing emotionally. He's really, really smart. And I've said that from the beginning. And so I think as he's matured emotionally, it's allowed him to kind of handle the environments, the ambiance, the things that he can control, the things that he can't control. Has a distinct presence for us in how we play defensively. When Henry got hurt, respectfully, there's not a lot of other choices. We haven't been able to play what we would call big much, even since Henry has, quote, been back. I actually thought that those two fast fouls that Solo got on Wednesday, number one, he handled them better than he's ever handled something like that, which speaks to your question. And then I thought that was the first time in the last 2.5 weeks since Henry got hurt that Henry was Henry. And so now we need to get to the point where Henry can be Henry and Solo can continue to mature. And then how can we keep Andy being Andy? And now all of a sudden that gives us some maneuverability. I think when Henry was out, when Solo replaced him in the starting lineup, I thought Jace did a great job of carrying the burden on the glass. I think Jace has averaged right at 7 in that span. And so he's reaching new heights. Now Henry, I think, is back being Henry. And so hopefully we can stay that away from now on and we can build from that.
I know Florida game, Solo had said he told you he wanted to be on number 0 in that last play. When you have a guy like Connect coming in, is this a marquee matchup for defense and offense in the conference when you look at what Solo can do?
You know, I never pay attention to the NBA in any sort of way. I don't read anything about it. I don't watch coaches' press conferences. I keep up with our players that have played in the NBA, but I never watch a game until we're completely done. And, you know, basically we start at the same time. So I'm kind of removed from the highest level. And somebody mentioned to me yesterday that 3 is a lottery pick. Okay, yes, I don't know. But in studying him, I think the growth of 0, what 3 has done for them, and I actually think what 2 and 11 bring off the bench, along with their returning players. I mean, they're playing for a 1 seed, and I personally think in what I know and what I've studied and who I've seen, I mean, they're good enough to win a national championship. 3 is just so aggressive to score. And I think there's a really good vibe in watching them. 5 scored a bunch of points in his career. 30 is as old as Boots. And 30 played with USA Basketball when he was 15 because I was at Virginia Tech and was in Charleston trying to recruit him. It's not like 3 has to score. And so when you give all of your attention to 3, those other guys will beat you. 0's their second leading scorer in conference play. And then when you give all of your attention to each kid that are young man, they're worthy of that attention. And then 3 just abuses you. And you've seen some of that in league play. So I think a lot of our guys will have a chance to individually guard 3, including Solo. but I'm not sure that an individual can stop three. But for sure, you can't beat Tennessee if you're only worried about stopping three. And so we got in late. I guess we got in at 3 o'clock Thursday morning, and our guys absorbed all that we gave them yesterday in relation to Tennessee's style and personnel. And that's kind of the message that I communicated to them. 3 is the leading scorer in the league. 3 shoots 18 balls a game. 7 of them are threes. He makes 7 free throws a game, which is otherworldly in conference play. He will be player of the year. He will be on an All-American team. I don't know if he's first team because I don't know enough about the teams across the country, but you're not going to beat Tennessee if he's held scoreless. Those other guys have played in championship games before, when 3 was in junior college or when 3 was at Northern Colorado.
Buzz, do y'all draw upon that fact that you've already beaten a number 6 team here in Reed? Do you use that with your guys? Or
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying it's because it's the media. But, like when I was young, being ranked 6th meant the world in some regards. And now, because there's so many other metrics, I think the AP voting has been diluted. So, like when we talk to our guys, Brent, a lot of our stuff is more on the metrics, whether it's the net. Occasionally, I bring that up. Our smart players are aware of Ken Palm. Not necessarily what we're ranked, but like where are we ranked within our conference in certain categories. When we started yesterday and today, I said, guys, I could give you a book report on what I've learned about Tennessee. Any part of it. I could talk about any chapter of the book. I can talk about their coach. He's a Hall of Famer. I can talk about their players. I can talk about what they do offensively. I can talk about what they do defensively. They have the 15th best offense in Division I. It's the first best offense in the SEC. They have the 5th best defense in Division I, and it's the second best defense in the SEC. But I think I'd be wasting your time. Those of you guys that are going to give us a chance to win, y'all know how good they are. And so we got to hurry up and get to who are they and what do you need to know in between the lines that give us a chance to win the game. So I haven't necessarily said they're number 6. I know they're number 6. I think they're also 6th in the net. I think they're also 5th or 4th in Ken Palm. So, like, there is a lot of 6s going on. I don't know if that's a good number or not, but maybe there'll be some karma on when we played Kentucky here. They were 6th.
not 3 of them together?
Yeah, exactly. Not 3 of them together.
Coach, how do you, I guess especially given how good they are at defending from the floor, but I guess kind of more of a general question too, how do you value trying to, I know obviously you want the most efficient shot and like expected points per attempt, but I guess in terms of momentum flow of the game, not sacrificing, perfect shots, but maybe, whether it be not just limiting threes, but maybe if it's like an open mid-range and you can drive to the hoop and maybe have a slightly better chance of at least getting to the line, doing some adjustments to give yourselves opportunities to score on a more frequent basis, and even if it is maybe slightly less efficient, but it prevents,
Yes.
3, 4 minute, 5 minute scoring drought or
Yeah.
drought.
Yeah, everything you said is good. I don't know if that was a question, but what you
Well,
said.
how do you try to,
Here's how we've kind of framed all that you just said. Our guys wouldn't know the court diagram of points per possession that you're talking about, but our smart players know what effective field goal percentage is. the one thing that we've tried to concentrate on, and actually it's one day before, so they know that this is one of the categories that I talk about one day before, is pick any of those shots. A mid-range pull-up, a layup, pick any of those shots. What we talk about is it predictable for us? Four's game is a different game than Jace. Solo's game is different than Jace. Any of our guys, what's predictable? When our team is predictable, it gives us our highest points per possession possibility. But what we've learned is some of it through droughts. When we're unpredictable, not only are we not going to make it, so it's 0.0, we're not going to get fouled because the officials are wondering why we're doing that. We're not going to offensive rebound. And what has happened in these stretches of unpredictable shots is the opponent is scoring 2.0. And I don't know if you watched the game on Wednesday, there was a stretch in the second half of unpredictable at a very high rate, even for us. We have become, against Florida, we had 5 total unpredictable shots. That's unpredictable, and this is what I tell them. The only opinion that counts in predictable and unpredictable is mine, not yours. And so I always show them, this is unpredictable to me. And over time, their lens on it has really helped our team. Somewhat helped us score, but it's for sure helped us not give up transition baskets. So I reframed predictable going into Missouri, and I said 4 gets 1. 4 gets 1 unpredictable, and our team gets 1. That's really hard to do at this level against a defense as good as Tennessee because they're so good defensively. But if we can stay in that predictable lane, it'll help us. And Wesley Matthews played for us, and he was inducted into the Hall of Fame at Marquette last week, and he sent me a really nice text. And when I coached him, I gave his unpredictable shot to Jarrell McNeil, who is the all-time leading scorer at Marquette. And Wesley, who's like Henry, really smart, really articulate, Henry will be the president like I thought Wesley would be the president if they don't play forever. So Wesley would always say, Coach, that's unfair. And I would always say, yes, it's unfair. And I was 34 years old at that time. It is unfair. I'm giving yours to Rel, and that's unfair. But it's fair for us because you're smart enough to be able to do that, and Rel needs that to be his best. So I tell our team the other day, this is how we're going to do it, and I give them the illustration of Wes and Rel. But that's paramount in a game such as this. We have to be ultra predictable.
Hey, Buzz, with the outburst, for lack of a better word, that Boots has had the last couple of games, do you explain that with him just being healthier? Is it something that you're doing offensively? Is it matchups?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't think necessarily there's any thing that we've done differently, but I do think maybe it's a little bit of all of that. I think there's also a little bit of he knows he's officially at the end of his time. And because of all that he's been through, not last week, not that, just his whole story. Like his whole story has never really been told. Not all of it. and I'm not talking about here, I'm just talking about, no, start at the beginning and summarize it till today. It's remarkable. And obviously I'm really thankful for the seat that I've had in it, and I'm not even taking any credit, but of a lot of times when kids get to the end, they process it the wrong way. He's actually processing it in the most mature way you could possibly do it. He's not doing it trying to get drafted. He's not trying to do it to score 20. He's doing it because he wants his team to win, and he wants to play in the NCAA tournament and have success. It's the most pure, how can I help the team? And I think that he's not a very outspoken, he's not an extrovert in any sort of way. But within his peers, his daily example over time, he sways them. He doesn't sway them because he's talking. He sways them by his actions. And I think there's been a little bit of that kind of leaking in our team in a good way. And I mean, I know the stats prove it. I think you asked me, well, what happens when he doesn't score 20? Well, just look at what happens when he scores 10 versus when he scores 20. It's dramatically different. You could probably say that about several players, but it's for sure an outlier stat specific to him. Do I think he knows that? No. Do I think he knows, hey, if you play good, we have a chance? Yes. Do I think he knows, hey, Boots, you probably got to get 5, 6, 7 rebounds. 3 or 4 of them better be offensive. You need to be a top 10 offensive rebounder in this league. Yes. Do I think he knows you're going to guard a pro on the other end and you need to do that and on the glass and score 20 and you need to do all of it and you probably need to do it for 36 and a half minutes? Do I think he knows that? Yeah. But that's a lot. He's an all-time go-get for us on the offensive glass. Guard a pro on the other end. And when we shoot, you need to get 3 of them for sure. When they shoot, you probably need to get 4 rebounds over there. And you can get a drink of water for 75 seconds in the first half, 75 seconds in the second half. And by the way, you will always be coming into the game out of a timeout. I'm never using the timeout to rest you. Never use the timeout to rest Boots. I never use a timeout to rest for. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that. But it's not like they're coming to the huddle going, whew, my break starts now. And then we play and they're sitting there. Not one time. Because we can't afford to give those 3 possessions away with one or both of those guys out. So that's the responsibility of being a good player.
That's why you call him Boots, I guess.
That's where it started. That was long before he played, but yeah.
Buzz, with Wade, curious how you balance kind of empowering him to poke at the ball, be aggressive as a defender, and then also, hey, stay out of foul trouble and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
It's a very unique relationship. I talk about half crazy to him because that's the language he grew up on with his dad. Half the time I talk to him like he's the vice president of a company because I think that's what he needs as a leader. There's a lot of personalities within our relationship. And his emotional intelligence is probably as high as any player I've coached other than Nikhil. Like he can read the room real fast. And so he reads my personality traits on who I am at that moment immediately. To the point that they've almost become separate people. Like I was talking to him yesterday about some of the things I said to him in the game. And that was a different person than who I was talking to him about yesterday. And I was like, we got to get better at that exchange. And I actually think that applies to your question. Like, take yourself out of the play. We call that TWAP. Those are words we use. He's the best TWAP player ever. He leads the league in steals. We don't teach steals. We teach stay in the play. But it's the same thing with his question. Like, hey, you guys need to score some points. Yes. We're open to all trick plays. We're open to all shooting coaches. We're open to anything. But today, the best way for us to score, hey, 4. Go ahead, man. Now, when 4 has his boy with him and his boy's doing good, 4 is actually probably even better because he doesn't feel the pressure of that. That's why 4's floor game, the last 2 games, sterling. But it's because somebody else is taking the load off of him. We can't make a 3, but 4 leads the league in 3s made per game. Okay, well, hey, can somebody else make a 3? So, like, when Jay shoots at Missouri, it makes 2 threes. It's literally manna from heaven. That's why we do praying hands emoji in practice. Hey, everybody stop, praying hand emoji. It's just huge. But it is a fine line. Like against Florida, you may have noticed he had 4, Andy had 4. And I'm changing what we're doing defensively. And I don't necessarily think it's the right strategy at that time versus Florida. But I do think it's the right strategy versus 4 has to stay in and Andy has to stay in. We don't have a choice on that. So 4 goes, no, I don't want, and I have to talk crazy to him. Hey, man, no, you're not the vice president right now. We're going to do it this, and this is why. And he goes, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like his steals. Does he lead the league in steals today?
Yes. An SEC play.
Yeah, sorry, in conference only. Like, but I'm going to show clips here in a minute where I'm not going to scream at him. We can't TWAP. We can't TWAP. Because our team views TWAPs as 4. Because I don't want our team to TWAP. You know what I mean? It's a delicate balance for sure. All of that.
I know you've mentioned sometimes, like on the post-game radio shows and stuff, about you'll tell the team y'all need this many turkeys to be able to win the game or whatever. And
I had good numbers, Travis, in Columbia.
yeah.
Because, go ahead with your question.
Well, I was going to say, is that something that the team is used to now, seeing that a lot of times those play out?
I try not to do it every time. And I'm a lot better when I have more time to study it all. How I teach them offensive rebound percentage is with pennies. Here's 10 pennies. Each penny is a shot. And we missed all of them. If we get 4 of them, our percentage is 40. Okay, well, who got the other 6 pennies? The other team. So their defensive rebound percentage is 60. Our offensive rebound percentage is 40. And then here's 10 more pennies. Guys, these are their shots. And I do the same thing. But like if I try, I'm a bad teacher. If I try to teach them percentage on anything else, I fail. I don't know why. But they understand offensive rebound percentage and defensive rebound percentage like they minored in math. Any other percentage, it messes them up. So we were off on Sunday. So we actually, for my brain, Sunday was 3 days before. So I got to do all of my 3 days before meetings only Whereas yesterday is 2 day before, which means I have to do my 3 day before meetings and my 2 day before meetings. And they're just back to back studying. So when I have time of a 3 day, I'm better with figuring out how I can distill it and go, all right, this is what you need. So at Columbia, it was 20 free throw makes, 20 offensive rebounds. We had 9 turkeys here. I said we got to play to 9. And then I showed them our offensive rebound percentage and defensive rebound percentage versus Missouri the last game, which was the worst in conference play for us. And I said, guys, these are our averages, and this is what we did against Missouri. We're going to split the difference, and that's the game. And like they're asking me at halftime, Coach, what's our percentage? So I think when I can give them a number to hold to, they're better. And so I don't do it every time because I don't want them just consumed with all that because my brain is chaotic. But sometimes I do that on purpose for sure. Henry asks a lot. Henry wants to know because Henry can keep up with it. And like during the game, Henry went in early for and then he got hit again. I ran out there because I was afraid it was the same thing. It wasn't the same thing, but it scared me like it was. And so I didn't put him back in after he got hit. And during the game, he's calling the numbers out to me. Coach, that was 6. Coach, that was 8. All right, good, thank you. Because he knows he's keeping up with it. And so when he's chattering, Solo can keep up with all of it. Henry can keep up with all of it. I do it sometimes with the individual player. I did with 4 at Missouri. 6 defensive rebounds, 6 defensive rebounds, 6 free throw makes. You can only have 1 turkey. So every time he's getting a defensive rebound, Coach, that was 2.
Is Tennessee a game that you can discuss?
We don't play till tomorrow night. So I have a little bit of time tonight when we're done with practice. But it's too early for me to tell it to them today because yesterday was 2 days before immediately after a game. So I'm not sure yet.
That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.